Hey, Back to the Future fans, I'm Videobob, and this is my Delorean Time Machine. Here it is, the 1981 DeLorean. The real thing, stainless steel, gray leather interior, 5-speed manual transmission. We took one of these classic cars at my shop and turned it into an almost exacting replica of the Back to the Future DeLorean, as seen at the end of part 1 and through part 2 and 3. Let me give you a tour of the car. First, let's come on back here. Here you have one of the most iconic things in Back to the Future, the Mr. Fusion. This is made from using real genuine parts that have been molded and cast to create an almost exact replica of the original. Many of the things that you see on the back of the car here are vintage aircraft. They go, these high pressure lines, all these different things, these go on jet engines, aircrafts, NASA equipment, Lockheed. A lot of stuff going on back here. Now on this car, just like in the real movie car, we've removed the rear window, put in a custom bulkhead system. Now the unfortunate thing is it's not weatherproofed, but this is exactly how they did it in the movie. These vents are made out of a thick 1/8" aluminum and TIG welded. We got the measurements for the vents by going to Universal Studios in Hollywood, taking in-depth measurements and photos and dimensions of the original screen use vents on the real Hero car, and they are 100% screen accurate. Here on the back you can see some of these other items, high voltage capacitors. These green tubes are found on a Cobra helicopter. All of the flux bands have been custom bent with the mesh material with rubber brackets to hold them in place, just like it was in the film. Let me open this door here. Let's go on into the interior now. Now, in the seat I have some of the props from the movie, like the camcorder, the sports almanac, the hoverboard, of course. These aren't going to come out for another couple of years, but I thought I'd let you see it. All right, now comes the interior of the car. This is the real fun stuff. We've recreated everything just as it was in the movie. Now, there's no special effects used on the following video on the inside of the car. The sounds that you hear are all generated from the props in the car. Now what we've done here is we've got the plutonium gauges, we've got the drive switch, spectrum analyzer, and of course, the flux capacitor. That's what makes time travel possible. Now, everything works just like it did in the movie. Let me show you how it works. Works just like in the film. Here you have the time drive switch. Just like Doc says, you turn the time circuits on. I'm gonna turn this switch and everything's gonna come on. Now what I want you to pay attention to is the time circuits are gonna come on and they're gonna make a sound, and then the plutonium gauges are gonna come on and they're gonna make a sound. These sounds are coming from the props. This is not a special effect I've added to the video. Ready? Here we go. All right, just like it does in the film, the plutonium gauges come on the delay. Now, you can enter in your own times on the destination keypad. I remember one from the movie. It was November 5th, 1955, 0600 a.m. And there's your time. Now, all we have to do is, there's a special button here. Make sure this switch is up. When we press this button, watch what happens. The speedometer ramps up to 88 miles an hour. And then the times are going to change, and then the needles should drop. Needles have dropped. What's going to happen next is I'm going to turn the system off, and let's wait, we got to slow back down to 0. Currently we're flying right now. Now when I turn the system back on, just like in the movie, it lets you know that you're completely out of plutonium. There's a switch over here that you can flip to reset the system, and everything will come back on as normal. And there's your new time. Now on the center console, this keeps your actual real time. So at the timing that we're recording this video, it is 03:30, 20, 11, 01, 43, and then 0 indicates AM. Enter. And there it is. And we would go through the same sequence again, speeding up to 88 miles an hour. The fun thing is, This speedometer actually works, and it works by GPS. So when you're driving and you go up to 88 miles an hour, the sequence behind you actually ramps up and does the same thing. It's really cool. So all we have to do is slow back down to 0 and turn the system off. There we are. Now, if you don't want that to happen, all you have to do is keep the switch down, and then that won't happen. Now that you've set whatever your present time is, it will begin counting from that time forward, and that'll be your present time. And then all you have to do is, you know, put in any other date that you want from, you know, your birthday or whatever event's happening. October 26th, 1985, 01:21 a.m. That was when Einstein went through time in the mall. So that's how the interior works, and let's show you what's under the hood. All right, this is the hood, or the bonnet, of the front of the DeLorean. This is normally a trunk where you would keep not much, but we've done some modifications under here. Let's have a look. Now, we've added a lot of battery power, as you can see. There's 2 of these batteries here in the front, and then there's 2 in the back. This is an 1800 watt fog machine. This is a 12,000 volt transformer that runs the neon. We'll show you that in a minute. This is a 2,000 watt inverter that powers everything. That is a 75 amp DC charger that allows you to plug the car in and run everything on DC voltage for as long as you want. So if you wanted to use the car at a casino or on a museum on permanent display, you want all the lights on, you want everything working permanently, you can simply plug the car in. There's a plug underneath, you plug it in, and everything runs on a permanent basis, and you don't have to worry about running down the batteries. All right, now we're looking at the main switch box. This main drive switch turns everything on and off. Now, this switch here with the red light, this operates the upper console. Turn it on and off. You can turn this on and off. There's individual switches here that I'll show you in a minute. This switch here that says rear deck, and by the way, don't pay attention to what any of these labels are. These are the labels that were seen on the original box in the film, so that's all been recreated. But this switch here operates the stereo. You can have the radio running independently of the car. There's actually a speaker on the outside, and that way you can play the Back to the Future theme in your favorite Huey Lewis song, and you won't have to have the key in. Now, this switch is very important. This switch is an AC switch that turns on the 12,000 volt transformer that lights up the car for time travel. You want to see it? Here it is. How cool is that? Just like the original car, real neon tubing. No one has ever attempted this since 1985 when they shot the film. This is real 10mm white phosphorescent cold cathode tubing. This has all been custom made for this car, and even though it runs on a 12,000 volt transformer, it really doesn't use that much power the way we have it wired up. You can leave this on for permanent display if you like, and neon signs, very durable and have been known to last for a long time. So you can leave this on, and it's a lot of fun. Now, you'll notice that the neon is white, and a lot of people have asked me, why did you use white? I remember it being blue in the movie. Well, the real neon was white just like this, but in the film they used special filters on the lenses that made it appear sort of blue, and Industrial Light and Magic added some special effects and sparks to the scene, but in reality it was white, which is why we've done it this way, because we wanted it to be as accurate as possible, as made like it was for the film. This is the first time that a car, other than the original screen-used car, has ever been made with real genuine neon. I wanted to take a minute to show you these. These are called the flux boxes. These were originally made out of wood, but a few years ago, one of the original screen-used cars was restored by a private party. When they did, they made molds and castings out of polyurethane of the original screen-used wooden boxes. I got a hold of some of those castings, cleaned them up, and that's what's on this car. These castings are made from molds of the original screen-used boxes. It's made up the same way as the original. They're very sturdy, they're bolted to the car, they're not going to come off. These little details are what makes this car so valuable and so important. The neon, these flux boxes, and other parts on the car are what make it unique. and unlike any other replica that's been attempted in the past. Here we have the upper console. Let's fire it up. Now, some of these, I've wired this so that this isn't glaring in your face when you're driving, but you just press that button and it comes on. This little indicator here, when you turn on the rear deck lights with the smoke in the vents, that indicates. Speaking of which, these little buttons can be flipped. They don't really do anything, it just looks cool when you're turning stuff on and off. Back here, if you can see, there's these two little red lights. They don't really do anything, but they were in the movie and they just look cool when you turn them on. And then here we have a dome light. Well, we're here in the back of the car, and the rear deck sits on top of the original DeLorean V6 engine. This car, with the exception of our modifications, is a completely stock DeLorean. It has a Peugeot Renault Volvo V6 engine, which is completely stock. The way the original screen-used vents were made, they clamp on to the rear so that they don't come off. So in order to access the engine, you have to either remove these lower sections of the vents or dislocate the hinges and pull the whole thing off. It's not too difficult, but luckily this car runs good enough that you won't need to get back there very often. Something else that's cool about the rear venting system that you saw in the mall scene in Back to the Future Part 1 was how fog came out of the vents. Now, rather than using CO2 like they did in the film, it's very expensive to refill, it's very loud, and you only get a couple of short bursts. So we put in an 1800 watt fog machine that holds over 1 gallon of liquid. You can set it on a timer so that when it's on display, the fog can come out at different intervals and at different power. Let's demonstrate that now. There's also lights inside the vents. Let me turn them on. You see the lights? Here's the fog. It's a little windy outside. This happens a lot differently when you're inside a building. But this fog machine can continue to pump fog like this for hours and hours and hours. It's a safe, almost odorless water vapor fog that you can pick up from most party supply stores, and it's very economical. And it'll do this for hours if you turn it on. So are you drooling yet? Do you want this car? Well, it can be yours. This car is for sale, and it's going to be auctioned off at the Gallery 63 auction in Atlanta, Georgia on April 10th. That's a Sunday. Come on out or register to bid by phone. That is the gallery that is seen on the Discovery Channel show Auction Kings. The final auction will be televised later on, but if you want to come and bid on the car, come on down to Gallery 63 or go to gallery63.net for more information. You can also check out our website, timemachineforsale.com, and it'll give you all of the information so that you can bid. So don't delay, register to bid, and this DeLorean Time Machine replica, one of the best in the world, can be yours. Well, it's about time for me to get out of here. I'm gonna be late. I gotta get back to yesterday. See you later. I'm Videobob.